Hey everyone, it is Thursday and we are at 2 o'clock here, 10 after 2. I did not say that I would be going live, but I wanted to hop on here and make a card using this stamp set, Life is Beautiful. So hopefully some of you will see me on here and join. I'm just trying to adjust the iPad so I can see comments, but it's not cooperating. Oh, here we go. So yes, so we're going to work with this stamp set. And if you follow my page, if you follow my Instagram, you know that I worked with this stamp set recently. I have a blog post actually, so I shared this card that I made. I'm just going to switch this out so we aren't distracted by the red. Hang tight. There we go. So I made this card recently, and I'm going to be swapping this card with one of my other demo friends. Her and I both get different stamp sets, and then we share. So she didn't get this one. So I made this card, and I have a full blog post, so you can take a look at that if you want. But we are going to try something different today. So this is inspired. I saw something this morning by another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and her name is Wendy Erkelentz. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but hopefully it's pretty close. And she made a 4 seasons card. So this stamp set, you can see we can make all 4 seasons because we can do the leaves in 2 different colors. So we are going to play with that. I really liked her idea. I'm not sure how she did it. So I'm gonna try one thing. We're gonna see if it works. And if not, at least we're gonna have 4 really pretty trees all set to go that I can then make into a full-fledged card. So these stamp sets are photopolymer, which is great. It means we can see through them, which is awesome when we wanna be stamping onto the tree, okay? If this is a set that is of interest to you, I'm just going to draw to your attention. The tree is quite large, so you do need quite a large block in order for it to fit on there. So if you like the Stampin' Up! Blocks, which are a nice thickness, and they've got this groove, which is great for you to hold your hand in, you need, I think this is the E block. I'm just looking at my blocks here, so I could tell you. E. Yes, this is the E block, which is almost 3.5 inches, basically, by 4.5 inches. So you need that block in order to sort of use this tree or your Stamparatus. Okay, so I've already cut some pieces of Whisper white paper, and I have made these. They are 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches, and I came up with that dimension because the card front is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I took it in a full 1/2 inch from there so that we can have a mat, and then we can have this image. And if I decide this is still too big, then I can always cut this down smaller. All right, so if we take a look, our tree is just going to fill this entire piece, so we don't want to be any smaller than that. And then it's really actually a very good height as well. We're going to get the whole base of the tree, and then you still have some room up top. All right, so we're going to stamp 4 trees, and then we're just going to do all 4 seasons. And then what she had done is then she had cut her page into 4 strips and then put it together so the one card held all 4 seasons. Now that I'm thinking of that, this might be too thin for that, but we're going to give it a whirl. So I've got a bunch of different combinations of colors. We're going to do the tree in cinnamon cider for all 4 of them. In this original card that I did early espresso, which I think is really lovely for a nice sort of dark moody card like this. But because we're going to do all 4 seasons, I'm going to stick with the cinnamon cider. And that's what she had done too, and I thought it was really nice. Just going to try to move things here so you're seeing more of what I got going on here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we'll start with the tree, and then we will go from there. And you can see it's nice to use the Pierce mat when you're doing photopolymer, especially a big image like this, because then you get some of that padding behind it. And you can see with mine, I've stamped all over this one. I've also heat embossed it. That was what that other little bit was. Sometimes I will put a scrap on here, but I'm not going to worry too much about it right now. All right, we're going to try to line that up and apply some pressure. All right, there we go. So there is one. So I'm going to stamp all 4 of those now because we've got the ink pad out and I've got this stamp dirty, and then I can clean it off and we can go from there. So I know that I have got someone with me. Feel free to give me a shout out, a hello, whoever is watching on this beautiful day. So there's the second tree. Do a 3rd tree. For any of you who have been Stampin' Up! Customers for quite some time, or if nothing else, you've looked at their stamp sets and their catalogs, this set really reminds me of a set that was called Sheltering Tree, which was one of my absolute faves, and it retired, and I got rid of it because I can't really use retired sets in my business very well, at least certainly not in classes. So I was really happy when this set was in the catalog, and this is a set that was designed or co-designed, I guess, however you want to say it, with a $1 million achiever. So someone who gets $1 million, once they get $1 million in sales, they get to create a stamp set. So it's pretty awesome. All right, we're gonna get rid of that, and I'm just gonna stamp this off. I always like to stamp them off before I clean them. And I'm just gonna give that a quick clean with the chamois, especially since I got the block dirty. Anytime I use a dark color on a photopolymer stamp, I like to try to clean it fairly promptly, just because they do stain the stamp a little bit. It doesn't matter, it doesn't impact your ability to use the stamp, but just keeps them looking pretty longer. All right, so let's move into one of our seasons. And what should we start with? Let's start with winter. So I'm going with 2 different colors for this one, and we've got our snowflakes. So I have got Pool Party and I've got Mint Macaron. You could also bring in a brighter blue or Misty Moonlight, and maybe we'll add some others as we go along here. So I'm going to start with the Pool Party, and I'm just gonna stamp some snowflakes all over this tree, and around it, behind it. And because we're going to cut this and use it on more than one card, I kind of want them a bit everywhere. You can see I've got an ink there, so I'm going to, oh, and up there too. You know what, we'll put some mint there, but I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna do that. And I might do that. And then I'm gonna do a few little snowflakes down here and a couple down there. Okay, so this color's quite light. I probably don't even actually have to clean it. Hey, Kathy, shouldn't you be outside enjoying a beautiful Kelowna, sunny, hot by your pool, the cold beverage? I would be. Okay, clean that off. And now I'm just gonna bring in a bit of mint just for fun. I think that's actually probably enough. So I'm gonna leave it like that. All right, stamp that off, clean that off. Okay, so we're gonna put those colors away. I'm not planning on using them again. So there's our winter scene. And I'm gonna put that one to the side. All right, so let's bring in the next one. And let's do fall, or not fall, summer. So we're gonna do our summer leaves, and then we will do fall leaves, and then, or maybe this would be spring, I guess. And then there's one that I guess kind of looks like berries, maybe, I don't know. That'll be our summer. Okay, so I'm gonna start with Garden Green. And I think what I'm actually gonna do here is I'm going to stamp it once, full strength, I'm just gonna double check this is looking good. Oh yeah, that's fine. Just wasn't showing up very well. I know I had to re-ink this one recently. All right, so we're gonna ink that up, and then we're gonna come in here like that. And then I'm gonna stamp again, and it's gonna be a lighter shade. And then I'm going to stamp once more, and I'm just gonna turn it just so we get sort of different patterns of leaves here. And stamp again in full strength. And then I might kind of go up here again in this partial strength. So we've got quite a nice bit of foliage here in the garden green. I'm gonna put that away. I'm gonna clean this off because now we're gonna come in with a lighter shade of green. We're gonna come in with Pear Pizzazz and do some more leaves with that, just to add a bit of depth to the tree. You could use any shades of green you want. You could use a single shade of green and just keep stamping off. So I'm gonna kind of place this one in here like this. And then I'm gonna kind of do it again over here. And I'm gonna add it again over here. Sort of like that. Okay, so we've got a nice full bit of greenery there. We could add a few like leaves on the ground, which might be neat, but what she did, which I thought was really neat, is she actually did some grass. So there's no grass in this stamp set. She had to use another stamp set. So the one that I thought would be the closest is this Friend Like You. I thought we could use the bottom here, or we could even use some of this. So we might do a little bit of both. And again, this is a photopolymer stamp set. So that's great. It means we can easily see what we want. So we're gonna play around with that. So I think what I'm gonna do is this guy in our light green. And I'm just gonna kind of do that, and that. And then I'm gonna take the other one, just again, for depth, difference, make it a little bit fun. Put that guy away. So again, that's our Pear Pizzazz. I'm gonna pull out the garden green, and I'm just gonna get the edge of this, and I'm going to add that in there. So nothing crazy here. This would just be what we would call simple stamping, right? We're just using ink and paper and stamps. All right, so now we have a nice little grassy bottom there, so that's fun. Okay, so we're gonna put this one aside. Oh, no, we're not. Haha. So the other thing that we can add here is we have this little birdhouse, this cute little birdhouse. The only thing this is gonna mean is this birdhouse will only be in one of the 4 cards if we're gonna cut this. So you know what, I'm actually gonna change my mind. We're gonna stamp the birdhouse at the end. Otherwise, we could end up cutting the birdhouse in half. And I don't think that will really give us a very good look. This way too, we could put the birdhouse on more than one of the cards because we can stamp it like 4 times. Okay, so I'm cleaning all those stamps and I'm cleaning the leaves because we need to use them again for our autumn tree. And we're gonna take those guys away. All right, so now let's move into our autumn tree. And the colors I was going to use here are Cajun Craze and Pumpkin Pie. I really like Cajun Craze for autumn images with leaves. This card that I had showed you, I did Cajun Craze and Merry Merlot. So Merry Merlot gives you that nice rich red. You could also use Cherry Cobbler, but I thought we'd stick with these 2 colors for starters and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so this is gonna be our Cajun Craze. And I'm gonna try to make it so our leaves are sort of on our branches and then we can have a couple that are falling. And then we're gonna do the same over here. And again, we can do what we did before. We can have this sort of lighter shade. Like that. Okay, so I'm gonna clean that off. The beautiful thing about this kind of effect is you just can kind of keep going and seeing what you like, what you don't like, adding in extra colors if you want. This would be another great time to use your markers on your stamps. I do find though that the markers, they don't work as well on the photopolymer stamps as they do on the red rubber, so that's why I'm sort of taking this approach. Okay, so now we're gonna add in our beautiful orange. So I'm gonna put that like this. Oh, I think I need re-inker on this guy. And then we're gonna come in here like this. I'm gonna put some more orange up here. We need something over here. Okay, so we've got a nice fall look here. And then I think what we could easily have, so I'm gonna clean this right off because now I wanna do just a couple leaves like they are falling. So we're just doing a few now, like they're actually in the act of falling. And then we could put like a small pile of leaves at the base of the tree. So let's do that. So again, you just have to be mindful then of how much ink you're putting on your stamp if you want it to sort of look like it's just kind of a small little pile at the tree. So I kind of just want those. So I'm gonna just kind of go like this. And do that. And then I'm gonna do that again with this one. And just, I keep hitting my head on the camera if you're wondering why the camera keeps shaking. That's me and my head. Okay, so there we go. We have our nice autumn tree. It's pretty. I really like those colors together. My orange could be a little bit oranger, but I actually think it's really great for this. But I think I need to re-ink my stamp pad. So that's why that's looking like that. All right, so we have one tree left. Bring it in. Okay, now this is this one. It's these like circles. So they kind of look like fruit, I guess, or blossoms. Fruit or blossoms, I think. So the colors I was going to use for that was mango, bumblebee, and magenta. Now this magenta is going to be pretty bright. So I'm actually going to, I'm going to just show you what that's going to look like. So full strength and then stamped off. So that's full. And then that is like second generation. So I think I might do a bit more of that second generation. So I'm going to keep this here. And use that to stamp off on. And then I'm going to kind of throw some of these in here. And I'm going to do that again. And then I'm going to put some over here. Ooh, that's pretty. That could be kind of like cherry blossoms. All right, and I'm going to close that for now. And I'm going to stamp that off. And I'm going to clean that. Ideally, you would not do this in the order I'm doing it in. You would start with your lightest stamp color and add up to your darkest. And that way, if your stamp pad doesn't totally get cleaned, you're okay. I'm totally doing this in the opposite because now I'm going to go with my mango. And you can see I keep getting ink on my block. So you just want to be mindful of that. Okay, so we're going to add this in here. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, and we're gonna do it again over here. You kind of go down there. Oh, that's gorgeous. I think that's really pretty. Okay, We're gonna stamp that off, and then we're gonna add in some yellow, the bumblebee. I'm gonna close these. All right, adding this in. So Kathy, I don't know, are you a crafter now? Or do you just find this therapeutic to watch me? Or, you know, are you just bored out of your mind? Just curious. Okay, let's add some yellow there. Okay, I'm not really loving the bumblebee. I think I would prefer that it was like daffodil or saffron. So I'm gonna swap that out now before I do another layer of it. And I'm gonna bring in our Daffodil Delight, which is our brighter yellow. That's all good, all good. It's not gonna really cause a problem. And I'm gonna throw some of that up here. Yeah, see, that's a little bit brighter. So I might add a bit more down here just to, there, look at how fun that is. Oh, that's fun. And so the woman whose idea I'm sort of casing, copy and selectively edit, she had some fun little things down at the base of her tree as well. So I think I will do that because I thought it was fun. It looked really fun. So we'll kind of do that. And because we're going to cut this tree into 4, I'm going to do some more over here so that it will show up in more than one of our cards. Okay, so that's the yellow, the daffodil. I'm going to stamp that off, and then I'm going to add, I think I'm going to add a bit of the pink, the magenta, because it just makes it fun. It's so bright. So we are going to do the same there. So I'm going to stamp off, and then kind of add that in. Stamp off, and add that in over there. Oh, super fun, super fun. Okay, so we have the 4 trees, and now we are going to hope that what I have planned is gonna work. This would be a good time to have my mini paper cutter. It's upstairs because I pretty much stamp like everywhere. It's just how I roll. All right, so we can bring out all 4 of these and see now where we're at. Okay, so I'm gonna bring out my paper cutter and we're going to start to cut. So this is 3 3/4. So if it was 4, everything was gonna be an inch, and it's not quite gonna be an inch. So we need to take an 1/8 off of each of those. So each of these is going to be 7/8 of an inch wide. Yep, okay. So let me just make sure I'm gonna do this right. 1, 2, that's a 1/4, that's a 1/2, 3/4, yes. Right, 1, 2, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, that should be 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, those are 16ths. Jillian. Yes, so 7. Bear with me, people. Bear with me. So we've got 1, although you can't even see the tree there. 2. I think I did my math wrong, didn't I? 3. Yep, I totally did my math wrong. Okay. Well, you know what? We're just gonna have to roll with it because we've already cut that one. We'll make up for it on one of these other ones. So I think I need to actually go there. 1. 2. Is that right? 3. Gosh, that's not right either. I think really what I've tried to do is it doesn't really work. So maybe I should cut this in half and then go from there. So 3 3/4 in half would be what? 2. And then we have to go back 1/8, right? Is that going to be half? Whoops. Yes, okay. We'll get it right eventually. So now this is in half. And so now then let's do this again. So if I bring this down here, okay, perfect. Now that's in half. Well, 2 of our 4 trees are gonna be right, people. It's still gonna work out okay. I mean, it's not gonna look as awesome as if I had done the math correctly. But you know what? These are handmade cards, and that's what makes it beautiful. And if people don't like it, well, poo-poo to you, as my kiddo would say. Ha ha. All right, I'll get them at least cut, and then we can lay them out, or lay one set out. I'll make one of these cards, and then you can sort of see what I mean. Then you can go on with your day, and I will be sure to post the end result. Okay, so now let's see this. So we have to take the outside of the tree. Oh, we want to do them in line though. Oh, and that's the thing. So this is where this is going to get interesting. So if that's that one, then this lines up, right? And then the next one is going to be like this, and then the last one is going to be like this. So see, we have all 4 seasons now in one card. And then we're gonna put a back on it. So I'm gonna, for this one, I'm going to case what she had done. It was really pretty. She used cinnamon cider. So I think I've got a piece right here that's going to be just the right size. So I want this to now be 4 by 5 1/4. So we're going to take this, and then these guys are going to layer on here, comme ça. So we're gonna have to get just a tiny bit. We're gonna have to work out the spacing. So I'm not actually gonna adhere all this on here, only so that we can kind of get to our finished card. So it's gonna look like that. And then we're going to have our card base. So this is where I'm gonna play around, and I'm gonna make 4 different versions of this card. So you could then put this on a cinnamon card. So it would be mounted on here, which I believe is what she did. It was beautiful. She also took a snick of this ribbon and put it across and stamped the hello greeting. And so the hello I'm going to need to stamp on a scrap of white. I have one right here. So again, we could do this in any of our colors. I think for this one, if we're gonna sort of stick with the cinnamon, I'm going to stamp it in mango. And we're gonna stick with the cinnamon. And we're gonna stamp that birdhouse. So I wanted to do the birdhouse in Pacific Point, which is a bright blue, because I thought, you know what, it would be fun for the birdhouse to be painted a bright color. I'm going to see what that looks like. And then you've got the two blue birds. I don't think we want the string in bright blue though. That's what I'm worried about. I guess it's okay. Where's our foam mat? So we're gonna bring our foam mat back in there. We're gonna put this on here. All right. And then we're going to stamp our birdhouse on that guy. Okay. What are we at here? I think we're already at a half an hour. I try to be really mindful of how long I am keeping people on when I do a Facebook Live, but I also kind of don't want to just finish this and have it not be completed. I'm just trying to think of what would be a nice shape for this hello. That would have been nice if I had centered it. So I think I'm going to stamp this out, punch this out, pardon me. And then we can actually even do, okay, so then I'm going to do the hello. This is what you get when I don't plan cards in advance. I just have an idea and I run with it. There's our hello. And I think we might be able to do this, and then we can actually feed the ribbon through here. The thing that I think we're going to find is that if I don't line this up properly, it's not going to work. Oh, that might work. So then you see what I'm thinking? We can do, the ribbon can feed right through here. Like this. Yes. Fun. Cute. Perfect. Okay. All right, let's make this happen. Let's make this happen. So now we're going to take out this guy. We don't need it. We're going to get our silicone craft. And then we are going to get this guy, and I'm going to use this glue so that we have a little bit of leeway to move things around. So I'm going to lay this out again and just get a sense of how much room I have in between the pieces so that we have sort of an equidistance. So roughly like that. Okay, I can remember that. So when I use this glue, which I have just started using more and more frequently, I go sort of roughly this far from the edge, whatever that would be, 1/8 of an inch, so that when I press down, it doesn't squoosh out all over, or it minimally squooshes all over. But like I said, this gives us some room to move things around. So get that so we think it looks even. Okay. And then we're gonna do this one. So you can see how fun this is. Obviously I used a lot of colors. You don't need to. You could do this in a totally different kind of theme. We kind of need to make sure that's lining up more or less. But you can see that we're not doing anything fancy. What am I doing? Don't do that though. I was like, why does that not make sense? This is when I need you to like chime in and be like, no, Jillian, don't put those two pieces together. Is this right? Yes. Winter, spring. Oh, goodness. I think it's time for afternoon coffee. I don't know about any of you guys. So there's a lot going on right now, right? There's the stress of this whole back to school, what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. My son is 9. He's going into grade 4. My work right now is really quite stressful. There's a lot going on. I work for BC Cancer. I'm a clinical educator in radiation therapy. So there's a lot that is involved with that, just in general. Then you add the COVID piece to it. And right now we're in this sort of weird spot where our son is really, you know, he's got lots more independence. He's out in the neighborhood with sort of his core group of people who have been in our bubble and they are playing outside. But so I can't really go anywhere though. I'm stuck at home because if he needs me or something happens or he needs to ask permission, I have to be here. So I can't run any errands. And of course he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to run any errands because all he wants to do is be outside with his friends, which I can't blame him. He's 9 years old. And that's what I want him to be doing. Okay, there we go. So we've put all that on there. And then what we're gonna do is put this on here. And now we could pop this up with dimensionals. It just means we will have to put dimensionals on the ribbon, which I'm okay with. So we're gonna use a combination of normal size dimensionals on here. And then we're gonna need some minis on the ribbon. And I'm trying to think, will we need 2? I think we'll have to pop it up on this side as well. So I'm gonna put one over here. And I might actually put another one sort of here and move this one to here. All right, and then we're gonna take all these off. The only other thing too, if you start to use this Tombow, the multi-liquid glue, multi-purpose liquid glue, is you do sometimes end up a little bit sticky. I'm getting better. I'm not nearly as sticky as I used to be. So that's where the Stampin' Seal, you don't get sticky. It's the tape runner. But once you stick that down, you can't go back. So you know how I'd stuck down that wrong layer? If I had used the Stampin' Seal, that would have been it. The card would be over. Okay. So I know I want my hello there. Now it's just where I want the ribbon underneath it. You can see I've got a bit of glue. And then I can see here, this dimensional I've put here, it's not even anywhere in the right spot. So we're just gonna take that off altogether. Because I still had a backing there, we can do that. Okay, and then we're gonna wrap this around. So now I am gonna take my Stampin' Seal and I'm gonna put a little bit across the back. And I'm gonna wrap the ribbon around and then trim that off. My phone never rings. And I'm gonna pop this up on dimensionals as well. And then we are going to be done. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry I kept you for so long. This is why pre-planning. But this is my creative process and hopefully that's part of the reason why you like to watch. So voila, there we have it, folks. So this is our finished card. We have all 4 seasons in one. And what I'm going to do now, because I have enough product to make 3 more cards, I'm going to make 3 more cards and I'm going to put different color schemes, different ribbons, different backgrounds, and you'll see the difference. Okay? Thanks for joining me. Have a great afternoon.